I'm Dr. Good. Welcome to Devo Loves Tacos. And today we're going to make the rosemary bread that we served at Manna and King Street Pub. It's basic ingredients. I'll show the recipe at the end. And let's get started. I have 4½ cups of flour. And I'm going to add the dry ingredients to that. I've got 3 tablespoons of sugar. Actually, I'm using brown because I'm out of white sugar. 3 teaspoons of salt and a tablespoon of ground rosemary if you can find it. If not, you probably need to grind your own like I did here, and I just ground mine in with the salt. And I'm going to use my mixer, my handy little mixer here. I'm starting with 2½ cups of warm water, and I've got backups of flour and water because since I didn't measure this by weight, I measured by volume. That's not a precise science, so we might need either one of those, hopefully not. And I'm just going to pour the yeast. I have 2 tablespoons of yeast in with my warm water, and pour that in there. Little spill. And I've got 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil that I'm going to mix in as well. It actually doesn't really serve a purpose other than it keeps it fresh just a little bit longer, maybe an extra day, and it helps it's a little bit softer when you're kneading it. So probably if you're kneading by hand, you might want to knead for 5 or 10 minutes. If you're kneading by machine, 2 or 3 minutes is probably good. At Manna, we didn't have a mixer big enough to make all the bread that we served, so we kneaded it by hand, and that was quite an experience for anybody who ever learned to do it. Actually, most of our cooks learn to make the bread every afternoon by somewhere between 2 and 3 o'clock, so that it would be coming out of the oven about 5:30, about the time that we served dinner. And we did. We made it fresh every afternoon. This is coming together pretty good. So I'm going to knead this. You probably couldn't even hear me over the noise there. I'm going to knead this for a couple more minutes, and then I'm just going to put a towel over the bowl. I'm going to let it rest for about an hour, and then we will come back and form our little loaves and let it rise again and go from there. And we're back with some dough that has risen. I'm going to dump it on here and shape it. And then we're going to let it rise again. I didn't have to make any adjustments to the flour or the water. So maybe you won't either, but it already smells so wonderful. It smells like rosemary and yeast. I don't think there's any 2 things together that smell better, except maybe bacon and coffee. So I'm going to just knead a little bit of flour into this to make it a little less sticky. And then, of course, at the restaurants, we made these in huge sheet pans in much, much larger batches. But I have parchment lined, it's just a little pan, not very big. And so I'm going to make 4 to put in here, about the same size that we used to make at Manna. So I've got this little log here. I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces with my little bench scraper here, just like this. And now I'm just going to shape them into little logs like that. Kind of pinch them under. Put them on my pan. This. So I have this like this, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray it with my little doughy fingers here. Spray the top. You could put some butter on the top if you want, but I'm going to put butter on the top at the end. So I'm just going to, this is just to keep them moist, like this. And I'm going to cover them, and we're going to let them rise until they're nice and big and puffy. I'm going to say probably double in size is what most people say. And then we'll put them in a 350-degree oven for about 25 or 30 minutes. And check that out. And the bread has risen, and it's so pretty. Okay. So we're going to go back here, put it in the oven for about 30 minutes, and then check on it. We're back. The bread is out of the oven. It smells so good. Let's see if we can. It is brown. It looks more brown after you brush it with a little butter. Can we see that? See how that brings out the color? Oh, that's pretty. Quite a difference. And I tested it on the bottom already to make sure the bottom's brown. That's just as important as the top. If the bottom is white and the top is brown, it's probably not done in the middle. So, I don't know if you can see under the bottom here. Anyway, go ahead and pull one out here. That's what the bottom looks like. Here, like this, and at Manna and King Street, that's how we served it, with the knife down the middle. Thanks for watching. Coming up next, we have, in a couple days, we've got a Copycat Taco Bell sauce, and then in a few weeks, I'm gonna show you a 1-minute version of Rosemary Bread that doesn't require kneading. Of course, it still takes 30 minutes to bake, but that's coming up. Thanks, bye.